Hey, what is going on, everybody? It's Jamie and welcome to the channel Thrift on Fire. We're going to talk a little eBay news today. I'm going to give you 10 items that sold for me recently. It's going to be done a little different than the standard order pull you've seen in the last little while. I've sold a ton of things over the last week, but I'm just going to give you, 10 bread and butter items and then 3 really good items at the end. I'm also going to introduce a couple new segments. We're going to do a fail of the week, a find of the week, and I think we're just going to try to have a little bit different of a video today. So let's jump into this. eBay says that collectibles are booming and they're now reporting strong growth in these categories: trading cards, toys, action figures, and collectibles. In my opinion, if you're out sourcing at garage sales, this is all good news, right? This is the kind of stuff that you can pretty easily find at a garage sale on the weekend. As you know, I've got my TO card store. I've been selling cards now for a while. That's been fantastic. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't talk a ton about it on this channel, but it is, even when you're selling the lower end cards, it does add up and it's been doing really well for me. You guys always see me sell toys. This whole wall is full of action figures and toys right now. And collectibles, die-cast, NASCAR stuff. I don't know that NASCAR itself is a great collectible thing. As you see, there's highs and lows. Like with all collectibles, even you get into McFarlane toys, there are some cheap ones and some expensive ones. But that stuff's all selling. So, this category, I think, in 2026 is still strong. So if you're out there in garage sales, I'd say buy those collectibles if you can get them cheap. eBay is now using AI for payment disputes, and I think this could cause problems. They just rolled this out and I already have a payment dispute. I don't get a lot of them. In the last 2 or 3 years, I can only think of one other payment dispute, and they don't usually go very smoothly, to be honest, because what happens with the payment disputes is it's not really in eBay's hands and it's really not in my hands. It winds up being in the hands of the bank because it's usually the financial institute who does this. In this case, it was PayPal. I reached out to this person. They bought a Bobby Orr card from me and another card, and this was at the very end of May, and I think the first or 2nd of June, I got this dispute. The person said they did not do anything. This was sort of like flagged from eBay somehow. So I don't really understand, what happened in this exact case. This person reached out to PayPal, which is how they paid for the cards, apparently, according to them anyway. And PayPal said there's nothing wrong on their end. So I'm thinking this is an eBay issue. I don't really know. I'm just wondering how many people out there watching have had payment disputes in the last week or so since this has been pushed out. I don't know. Could just be a coincidence, but honestly, probably not. Like, as soon as you introduce AI to some of this stuff when it comes to cases and things like that on eBay, I think we're going to wind up having some problems. And I wouldn't doubt if this was, part of the rollout and I kind of got caught up in it. eBay basically said they cannot help me. The person who bought the card said that nothing wrong had happened, but we're still kind of stuck in this loop. The other issue is because I don't have tracking, because it's a sports card under $20. I think technically it's like $19.99. I listed it that way on purpose. No tracking. So I can't even I can't even document my side of the dispute, but that's not so much important. The important thing is knowing that eBay is now using AI for these disputes. So be on the lookout. I think, we're going to probably run into a few problems before, things smooth out, or hopefully they just decide to not use AI in matters like this, in my opinion. Now, I'm in a couple different Facebook groups. Some of them are just eBay Canada. Some of them are Poshmark Canada. Some of them are just eBay in general, like the Reseller Water group, right? That's heavily American, but there's Canadians and Americans in that one. And that one's hosted by Lonnie and Candace over at Shed Flips. It's an excellent page. The Canadian groups, though, I have noticed a lot of sellers saying that their 2026 numbers, their sales have been lower than past years for sure. Do I feel the same? Yes, I've not done a deep dive in my numbers, but overall, I think sales have been slower. Certain categories like the vintage clothing and even some other clothing in general, like jerseys, haven't been selling for the same money as I've seen them sell in the past. But you've probably noticed me pivot into other things like this big NASCAR buy where I bought all these collectibles. I've been doing lots of stuff with hockey cards, baseball cards, Pokemon cards recently. you name it. So I'm just getting into different stuff that is selling. So that's smart. Also, the big video game buy. Video games are like that type of stuff always sells. So I think you pivot into stuff that you know that's going to sell and get away from the stuff maybe that's not selling so well right now. Gear up for Q4, whatever you have to do. We are kind of going to hit that summer slowdown potentially if you believe in it. In the past, I've felt the summer slowdown. I think it's a real thing, but I do think if you have good inventory that people want, it'll sell all year round no matter what. Anyway, let me know in the comments down below how your sales have been doing this year. I think mine have been pretty good still. I'm not ready to hit the panic button, but we're halfway probably. Yeah, I think we're about halfway through 2026. So I'd be interested to know how your year's going so far. Top 10 sales of the week. And we're going to start with a vintage coin belt. This sold on eBay for $26.99. This would have came from the NASCAR buy. Next is a vintage 1988 Vancouver Canucks vintage Christmas bob. I expect to sell a bunch more of these near Christmas. I bought a whole bunch of these, if you guys don't remember, from the family that owns the antique mall that I'm in Tillsonburg. They sold me a whole bunch of them for about $5 a piece, roughly. We got $22.48 for this bulb. Next, another eBay sale. This was from the Scott buy, so the big video game buy out that I just did from Scott. A set of Wii nunchucks, so a lot of two, sold for $19.99. We sold a Dire Straits record. This would have came from another big bulk buyout that you've seen on the channel recently. We got $29.99 on eBay for this record. A unique pair of Crocs on eBay. These are always fun because if they're not just a regular pair of Crocs, or if there's something unique about them, definitely look them up because they'll surprise you for sure. These were leather strapped sandals. I think I paid $5 at Goodwill, and we wound up selling these for $34 on eBay. Next, a pair of Timberland boots. These ones are really nice. I had a hard time not keeping them for myself. I just, I really don't need them, to be honest, but they're a nice pair of boots. I paid about between $8 and $9 on my local Goodwill, and I'm just taking a look here. It looks like we got $36 plus shipping for these boots. So UPS really saved me on this one. I sold a golf club, and I sold it for 36 bucks. It's a Nike 6-iron. It's an older one. Somebody likely needed this to complete their set, would be my guess, or they broke it, or they're just looking to put the Nike set together. Nike stuff can be pretty good. For this iron though, it was 36 bucks. I only charged $15 for shipping. I thought for sure I was going to get burnt on the shipping part of it, but UPS within Ontario, I was able to ship this out for $14.10. I charged $15, so luckily that was good. I did have to piece together a couple of boxes. I think I had about $5 in boxes, so that cost me a little bit more, but I was happy to save money on the shipping because I thought I was going to get myself in trouble there for sure, but it worked out in the end. Sidekick Tools is still my go-to for Poshmark automation. It does a lot of other things, and we've talked about all the other things it does, countless times on the channel. But the reason why I use it today, and the reason why I started using it, is for Poshmark automation. Things like sharing, okay? On Poshmark, I know Poshmark has said recently that sharing's less important, but what sharing does is get you back up in search, and it keeps you active. Poshmark wants you to be social and active. I don't want to do those things. I just want to sell items on Poshmark. I don't want it to be my social network, okay? So it helps you out there, and also, one of the other things it does really well is you can set up offers to likers. So you set up the percentage, you let it do its magic. You can even counter if you want it to counter for you, but that's where the money comes from the offers to likers. You will still get full price sales on Poshmark, but I would say 80% of your sales are going to be offers or bundles that people make. What else does it do? It safely will relist your items and keep your inventory fresh, and it does a lot of other things. There's a background removal tool. We've talked about these things countless times on the channel, but like I said, the reason why I use it today is for the sharing and the offers to likers. So if you want to give it a try, I think you'll be surprised how well it'll work for your closet. But yeah, let's continue with these sales. So we're getting into the last 3 items, and 2 of them are very similar, but with one big difference, okay? So a Nintendo DS Lite, but this one had a little crack in the top, and the hinge on it was a little bit loose. The battery charged up fine. I had a charger for it. The games played perfectly in it. There was no issue with the system or the screen or anything, but the hinge was a little bit loose and there was just a little bit of a crack in the top of it. So disclosed all that, and then Posh Sidekick wound up sending out offers, and I got $68 for the one that had some issues. Okay, I'm more than happy with that. This came from the Scott buy, the big video game buyout you guys seen recently. I just got it tested and listed and sold within a day. Another DS Lite, another, I think this one was coral pink or pink coral or something like that, $100. The other one would have sold for $100 same day if it didn't have that damage. But it did. Yeah, there's nothing you can do about it. So you disclose all that, you list it the way that it is, and it's still going to sell because people like these things. But yeah, the pink one that was in better condition, no problem, $100. I think you could do that over and over and over. It's just getting these things right. To clean them up a little bit, I still got a few. I got like a little handful of games here that I can list if I want. Nothing fantastic. I think they all had cases. I wound up selling them without the case. I might throw the cases in my booth or something like that. I'm not really sure. But Nintendo stuff sells quick when you do get it listed. I listed a whole bunch of Wii's this week and controllers and a bunch of stuff too. So we'll see, next week if any more Nintendo stuff sells. One other thing sold that was really good that I want to share with you guys. Vintage Harley Davidson lamp. This was from the NASCAR buy. And I'm going to tell you, this one took a while to sell. I took an offer. Sorry, I didn't take an offer. I had it on sale, a 10% off sale. The person reached out. They're local to me. They asked if they could do a local pickup. I did say no because I wanted tracking on this one, even though it's delicate and there's a chance it could break and the whole deal. But I just wanted to make sure that I was covered. And I've just had really bad luck with local pickups and things, I just don't like to do them, okay? So I wound up shipping it out. The only thing before they actually bought it, they wanted to hear it, okay? So I did upload a video to YouTube. For whatever reason, it worked on the desktop version. You could hear the audio, but I think the person only had mobile, or they said they couldn't hear it. When I looked on my phone, I couldn't hear it either. I could only hear it when I looked on my MacBook. So I wound up going over to YouTube and uploading the same video to YouTube Shorts. Maybe you've seen, if you follow my channel all the time, maybe you've seen that I put a YouTube short up of this lamp, revving up, making the sounds it makes, and actually got like quite a few views. The first day I listed it, like 2,000 views right away. It was pretty interesting for what it was, as it was just me demoing the lamp. Anyway, this made the person very happy. It was exactly what they wanted, and they bought it. They wound up paying $126, and because it was going so close to me, it was actually pretty cheap to get it out. I didn't have to pay any extra money out of pocket for shipping. I did have to put lots of bubble wrap on it, lots of packing paper, but I was happy to get this vintage Harley lamp out. I still have some more lamps from that NASCAR buy as well. Man, I don't like shipping lamps unless they're in the original box. This one was not, but we still got it shipped out, and fingers crossed that it gets there safely. This brings us to our thrift store find of the week.
It's a nice bag.
Yeah, it's really awesome. We are getting in that time of the year. If you can find golf bags cheap, you can flip them pretty quick on Facebook Marketplace. In this case, I paid about $5.99 and flipped this one for $75. This one is a nylon bag. It's nothing special, but it is a good brand. It was in reasonably good condition, and it did sell really fast for $75 on Facebook Marketplace. It's the reseller fail of the week, and this one is 100% my fault. Somebody on Poshmark bought a Cobra hat, a golf hat from me, and somehow I threw the wrong hat in the box and shipped it to them. They got it. They're not super mad about it. They just said, hey, did I accidentally get the wrong hat? They did, and it was, sometimes, when you're shipping stuff out, you might accidentally mix labels up, something like that. In this case, it's just the wrong hat. It's not even the right color. It is really just a really terrible mistake. So, it's my fault. On Poshmark, it is pretty simple. I just asked them to open up a return. Basically, Poshmark will look at it. They'll see that I basically said, I'm not really sure what happened, and I'm said, sorry, please open a return. So chances are they'll just return it to me. I'll refund them. I'll have the hat back. On Poshmark, mistakes like this aren't as costly because Poshmark's going to give me, or give them, a return label to send it back to me. If you did this on a regular basis, you probably would get booted off of Poshmark. If it's just something that happens occasionally, I've never done this before. I don't think they're going to kick me off of Poshmark or anything like that. But yeah, It's definitely not a good thing. Things like this do happen. So if it happens to you, don't panic. Just do your best to make things right with the person who bought the item, and that's all you can really do. Kind of bringing it back a little bit, I think when we first got some shed content on the channel, we were doing lots of intros, outros outside here against the side of the field, and I just sort of got away from that, being winter. It was one of the reasons why I wasn't hanging out outside doing that sort of thing. But yeah, I thought for this video would bring you guys back to the edge of the field here. What's coming up on the channel? Well, definitely more garage sale content. I have filmed another garage sale video. I just have to edit it. That'll probably be Monday's video for you guys. I'm just about, I think tomorrow, for me it's tomorrow, I'm gonna be doing an interview tomorrow with an AI listing company. We're gonna talk about AI listing a little bit in an in-depth video. We're gonna break things down a little bit. I've been demoing the product, the AI lister. It's good, it's really good. I've tried a bunch of them, and so far, this has been my favorite. We're gonna break it down. We're gonna get all the information that you'll wanna know directly from the horse's mouth, so to speak. So look forward to that interview on the channel. And like this what sold video is definitely a little bit different. I'm trying to just get away from just the straight up order pulls. I kind of asked you guys a while ago on the channel, what do you like, what do you not like? And a lot of people like variety. So for me to get away from just doing the straight order pulls, I'm going to start doing stuff like this. It's not everything that's sold over the last week, just not what you've seen, but I just kind of highlighted a few things and then showed you a few better things at the end. And I think that's, it's just a different way to show you guys. So we're not just doing the same thing all the time. I don't want to get super repetitive. I want it to be fun for me, and I want it to be enjoyable for you, the viewer. Speaking of viewers, we need to thank channel members. We do have new channel members, which is exciting. I think we are at 5 now. If you want to become a channel member, you can go to my YouTube homepage and join from there. And if you don't, totally get it. It's totally fine. I appreciate you guys watching either way. I still can't believe we've hit 5 channel members. That makes me a little bit extra happy today. So if you guys like videos like this one, please give it a big thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Subscribe for more content, and we will see you guys soon.